Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Everybody, this is Larry Yates. This is the Larry Yates' Ear Show. Just in case you're wondering when you look at me, am I Larry Yates sitting here in the flesh? I am he. And getting ready to have some fun today, man. I'm telling you, I am so. You know what? Oh man, those of you that are watching the show that's on the East Coast, I'm going to mail you a bottle of beach and sunshine. From California. I mean, I love cold weather, but boy. Anyway, you guys stay safe, be safe out there. The weather's changing. It is sad. I really wanted some rainy weather right here in California. And everybody's been talking about El Nino, this and El Nino that. I'm thinking like we're going to have my kayaking down Crenshaw Boulevard. I've gotten a little weather. I mean, Jesus Christ. I bought wetsuit, kayaks, motor, little dinghies and everything, just waiting for this El Nino to come wash L.A. away. Guess what? It's going to be 70 degrees this weekend. But anyway, okay, everybody, I watched the debate. And I got to tell you, Bernie Sanders and Hillary did quite well. I think I like both of them. And Bernie seems to be doing pretty good in the polls. Those of you that are Bernie fans, and okay, I know there's some of you going to say, well, Larry, I told you so. Okay, when you look at Trump and getting, I don't even know what you call this Palin girl. I mean, this is some serious, I don't know why there's a window pane in America that didn't shatter hearing that woman's voice. Glass just fought people, chandeliers cracking and crap and shit. Because of I know, man, that woman got the worst voice on the planet. How can you take a nut like that serious? But sadly, there are people that do, and we want the Republican Party to do. Now, let me say this: we need Sarah Palin, and we need Donald Trump. We need these guys. Because, I tell you something about these politicians and this politics and these people that is showing that the rot of America is bubbling from the bottom to the top. Those that are Bible thumpers and all of that, and those that are Christians and Jews and Muslims, the Bible didn't say get rid of the fool. It said be aware of him. We need fools. We need them. We laugh, but we need fools. Let me tell you why you need fools. The reason you got good brakes on your car is for the fool. The reason you got stop signs is so you don't hit the fool. And you got these red lights and seat belts is for fools. So we need the fool. Look at how much the fool has brought to the economy. We got wonderful police department. We got some bad apples out there, but we got some good policemen out there. Guess why? The fool. The Supreme Court and all these laws. Don't let me get started on that. But anyway, I just wanted to have a little fun. And everybody, the one thing I will say, go out and vote. Just go and vote. But vote your best interest. Don't vote against yourself. No matter who you are. If it's in your best interest, then you vote for that. But don't vote against or just because. That's kind of crazy stuff. Because, the thing about it, the country's in the earth, the globe, is in a really challenging time now. And the earth itself is going to be okay. But it's just we as human beings got to find a way to come together better than we have been doing, or we're the one that's going to lose out. The earth is not going to lose out. We're going to lose out. And it's the spirit of human beings and who we are that really has to be awakening. There has to be an awakening of the spirits of who we are. And that brings me to this young lady. Now, wait a minute. Let's drum roll. Can I have a drum roll? Okay. Just give me an applause. Okay, she give me a... You know how terrible I am with names, right? Okay, don't you guys be typing and texting and emailing me about some bad names, me mispronouncing the names. Anyway, Akuyoe Graham. Let's welcome Akuyoe Graham to the show. Hi, there we go. Get the applause. Akuyoe.
Yo-yo.
I might just say yo-yo. Yo-yo.
Yo-yo's fine.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I brought this in a little bit, and the name of your play is
Spirit Awakening.
See how I tied that in? Wow. Boom.
I know, that was...
Spirit Awake. Did I tie that in?
I loved it, the way you tied it. It was beautiful.
You have any comments on what I said? On my opening?
I agree about the fools. I mean, even Shakespeare had fools in his play, so they are a necessary ingredient to help us all wake up, and they act as catalysts and bring some humor. The only thing, though, I think, for me, I've lost patience with the humor that Donald Trump is bringing. So I'm a little bit like, all right, that's enough. We can stop now.
Yeah. But I'm so glad to have you. And you, this accent. Tell me about this accent.
The accent? Well, I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa. And I left Ghana when I was a child and went to England and had my primary school, a little bit of secondary school in London.
Yeah,
yes, I used to talk like this all the time. And then I moved to New York and then moved to Los Angeles, and here I am.
What brought you to this country?
My mother, who is one of my heroes, and I'm so grateful she's still here with us, and she's in Ghana right now. My mother really was very determined that I should see the world, see as much of it as possible. So she, as a single parent, made it her intention to take me to as many countries as possible. And so we started in Europe. In London was the base. And while we were based in England, I got to travel to France and Germany and Ireland and different parts of European countries, and then France, and then eventually we moved to the United States because she felt that the United States would offer a lot more opportunities for me than any of those other countries.
Okay.
And so she felt it was her destiny to bring her child here.
Travel and exposure, huh?
Yes.
You have brothers and sisters?
I do, many. From my father, there's 16 of us, I believe, from my father. Because in my parents' generation, a man could have more than one wife. My grandfather had more than one wife, and so did my father. And so from that lineage, I have a lot of siblings. And from my mother, it's just me and my adopted brother, Eric.
See, that's what's wrong with America. I mean, a man can't have... I'm just kidding. Oh, my God. I get so many emails behind that one, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But no, and you and I was talking just before we went on camera about exposure and artists.
Yes.
And I was telling Akuyoe.
Yes.
I was telling Akuyoe that when we decided to do the show, there were those of us that wanted us to be one way or the other. They wanted us to just be a political show or just be a musical show or an entertainment show. And I mentioned to you that I thought it'd be an insult, the fact that an artist don't have a global view, because if anybody has an experience, a global view of people in the arts.
Absolutely.
Because you get to travel. What is your opinion on that statement I made?
I think you're absolutely right. Artists are traveling all the time, whether it's locally or nationally, internationally. So an artist has a really vital and necessary worldview, because an artist has seen so many different things. And if anything, whether you're, a very popular artist that's commercially well known and you get to travel in high places, or you're a local artist that's doing your beautiful work. You still get to see get to be exposed to a lot of different cultures, meet different people. So you really get to understand the heart and soul of people. So I agree with you. And I get really upset when people are offended or they say, oh, tell that artist to shut up. What do they know? It's like, what do they know?
Yeah.
You want to sit down at a table with an artist.
Exactly.
And
tell us about the Spirit Awakening play. Now, she does a lovely one-woman show.
Yes.
And tell us something about that.
I wrote this play 20 years ago, just about, and got great reviews. The piece is really about a journey. It's a journey of a woman who awakens to herself, to her sexuality, power, who she is, finds her voice. So in the piece, I play 12 distinct characters, male, female. I play them all. Different cultures, different accents, because I love those kinds of things. And I really wanted to play with the idea of a woman who stands there, tells a story, and the story is the story of her becoming herself, of the story of her peeling away the onions of all the masks that she's worn to fit into different places that she's traveled to around the world, only to find that the greatest place she will ever be is where she's been all along, which is in herself.
I love that. Tell me, for a man, when men hear a woman coming into her identity, her own sexuality, what does that mean?
For me, as far as Spirit Awakening, it means that I learned how to really love and appreciate who I am, to love and appreciate the power and the strength that I am, to love and appreciate the way I look, just everything about myself. And I think for a man, when a man witnesses a woman take that journey, I think it can be a big turn on, because then you're in the presence of a woman who knows herself, who's confident. And I think real beauty and real sensuality comes from that space of confidence and self-awareness. You're dealing with someone who's not ignorant about herself. Now, what is that self? In the play, what the woman discovers is that self is an infinite self. It's not defined solely by her gender or her race or her culture, that she is a self that is limitless, is infinite and boundless. And that's what's exciting.
Give me an example as one of the, let's say, emotional shackles that you have broken in becoming this self-woman.
All right. I would say that growing up, I had a lot of vested interest, Larry, in pleasing people. Always trying to please and never trying to ruffle feathers. And one of the emotional breakthroughs I had was that, it's not about pleasing people. It's not even about pleasing myself. It's about being in integrity with my own soul, with my own beingness. Now, it's okay if someone doesn't like something or what I'm standing for. It's not going to break me, And once I became aware of that and accepted that, it freed me up so that I could have better relationships, actually. I could be more true. Because whereas before, I could be with someone and a friend or a lover, and I'm lying to please them, and I'm trying to anticipate what I think they want to hear or what I think I should do to please them, and then I end up not pleasing anyone, least of all myself. And it's not even a real relationship. It's like it's a farce.
Yes. So you found a way to become your authentic self.
Yes.
Not identify, because I tell people quite often here, with me born in my country, Mississippi, and being a black man growing up in Mississippi in the South. And so in America, period, we have let the census define us.
Yes.
Where before I was born, it was Negro on the census. Another 20 years, it was colored, and then it was black, and then it was African Americans. And I had no choice in what was put in this little box for me to check off on. And as I grew more and more into myself and understanding, the authentic Larry, then I stopped letting people identify me.
That's right.
And especially by zip code, area code, and zip code, area code, and social security number.
That's
So I
right.
don't let people, and driver's license number. I don't let that define me. So that's a good. That's a good freedom to feel.
It sure is. I mean, one of the other things too, in terms of as a woman, and the definition of beauty, I used to let outside sources define what that was for me, and I tried to fit into those ideas rather than discovering what beauty is for myself, rather than allowing beauty to be something that expresses through me, that it's a quality inherent in everyone, if we can allow it to be, if we can let it be, and so that was a huge one for me,
So
not to be defined.
this really speaks to spirit awakening.
Oh yeah.
Where did you get that concept from?
It's when again as a performing artist, auditioning and putting together plays. Again, I'm in an industry that loves to put people in boxes and define.
Yeah.
And so as I was experimenting with different pieces that I loved from different authors and writers, I began to write and to journal and to write poetry, and all of it, this collage came together to be Spirit Awakening, and it came through in a meditation. I wrote the piece in less than 2 weeks. It literally poured out of me. The writing of it was effortless. Then the performing was a little bit tougher. I felt like
developing the
wow.
characters.
Yeah.
So the thing about what I've learned, correct me if I'm wrong, is that once you I think it's almost like you become a. What's that? Channel?
Yeah, a chameleon almost.
You're channeling the story. It you become the conduit.
Yes.
It's coming in, but you become the conduit, and it just
Yes.
takes on a life of its own, especially once it start to be put on paper.
That's right.
And
That's
then,
right.
and it was what a lot of people, and this is why talking to artists is so fascinating, because you get to see something incubate.
Yes.
And well, first you see something impregnated in your mind, then you see it incubates and start to develop, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're giving birth to this child.
That's right.
And then you nurture that child, and
That's
you
right.
raise that child up and see the child perform, and that you end up being on the stage. How did that feel when it all came together?
It felt amazing. It really, although I will say, Larry, in the beginning, I was really nervous about performing the piece. It's provocative. It's a very provocative piece. And,
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
So now, before we go, you're going to be able to give us some examples here? You don't have to do it right now. I want you to think about it for a second.
Sure.
Give yourself, I'm planting that seed so it would incubate,
Yes.
and then you'll give birth to it on the air with us today.
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure. It would be my pleasure. But I used to get really nervous about performing Spirit Awakening, only in the sense, because for me, it was pushing my buttons of, will they like me? I had no doubt that they would be, audiences would be moved by the piece. The next step of growth for me was, though, to let audiences have whatever reaction they were going to have. That it was their reaction, and it really was none of my business. My business was to give the gift, perform as an artist, perform it, and then let go, and let audiences have whatever genuine reactions they were going to have. And that was intense.
That is very hard to get to that space.
Oh yeah.
As an artist, whether you're performing on stage as a musician, singer, writer, producer, or even if you're giving a speech, what helped you get to that it's okay? I mean, that's very powerful. That regardless of how the audience react, it's okay.
That's right. I think because I did have so many different kinds of responses. Some people were like, "Oh my God, that's my story," or some people were offended by certain parts of it. And I remember talking to someone one day, and it was like it didn't touch me. And that's when I realized, wow, that's great. And I would tell them, listen, that was never my intention to insult you or offend you, because I don't even know you. So how could I have written it to insult you? I said, however, I respect what you're feeling. It's your feeling, and that's yours.
But within that example that you gave, there's a big story. That's a huge story inside of that. Is that art? We can't contain art.
No.
we you either it is either for you or it is not for you.
That's right.
But you don't want to dictate art. Let art breathe on its own.
That's
and the
right.
individual that is channeling the art.
That's right.
Whether it's a song, a poem, or writing a book, or whatever that is.
That's right.
And that's a big story within the story there.
I agree. It was huge. And once I came to that, though, again, it freed me up once more because now I really can be a servant to the artistic work. I feel as though I am here to serve the story. And so I serve it. I literally serve it by serving it to my audiences.
Wow.
And then it's anything after that is really out of my hands.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, for those of you that, my group, you guys are wonderful, but just in case some new people are watching, and those of you that want artists to just be an art and not speak, see, you're finding that, come on, listen to this young lady. You sound wonderful. I'm going to do something different.
Okay.
And only someone of her caliber can answer this, can do this. Watch this. Ghana. Mm-hmm. Let's just say the next one was London.
London, yes. Uh-huh.
In the United States.
Yes.
How was it being a woman in Ghana? And how was it different from being in Ghana to London? And then how is it being a woman in America?
Wow. Well, when I left Ghana, I was a child. So, but the thing I love about Ghana, though, Ghanaian women are amazing, very forthright. Ghanaian women are entrepreneurs. A lot of them have businesses. Ghanaian women are remarkable. I
didn't know it was called Ghanaian women's. I'm learning here. See?
Ghanaian women are absolutely remarkable beings, in terms of having their own business and getting things done. So there was a certain work ethic I got to see that from my mother and from the other women that were, around me. And then go to London. And now, this was back in the day. This was years ago. But
you're not old enough to be back in the day.
Oh,
Listen
yes,
to
I
that
am.
back in the day. But go ahead, please.
London, that was a big learning curve for me because there were so many things happening there. There was the racial issue at the time when I was in England. And then there, actually, I felt like women were a little bit more buttoned down. And so I didn't find the same kinds of freedom to be a woman back then as I did when I was back in Ghana, in Africa. And then fast forward to the United States. And here, too, I think women, I got to tell you the truth, Larry.
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think Ghanaian women are some of the most brilliant women that I've ever met in my life, I have to say, and actually a lot of African women, and people don't even consider African women to be much of anything. We often get short shrift for so much, but African women work so hard. They're mathematicians, they're business people, they're juggling family and then the business, and they're doing so much, and then just so much. And I think that they are amazing role models for being a woman and also keeping the home life healthy and whole. Now I'm not talking about, there are certain traditions in a lot of African communities that I may not necessarily agree with.
I get that.
But I'm talking about the essence of the African woman, which I think is really very beautiful.
Yeah, I tell you, I wouldn't be sitting here if it was for the essence of an African woman.
Right?
But but you said something that struck me. How was do you go back to Ghana?
I do.
Now, how is the arts in Ghana?
I think that's where we've kind of fallen short, I think. And I think part of that is, as Ghanaians, as Africans, we are still learning to peel away experiences from colonialism. So we don't really have a great deal of value for our artistic expression, which is vast. The arts in Ghana, if it ever gets itself together, would be a world-class destination for arts.
I know a lot of people from Ghana have been there, and it's just a wonderful, absolutely wonderful place.
The music, the drumming, and the poetry, it's very powerful. I just don't even know if we as Ghanaians really know that.
Generally,
Really.
in fact, as an African American male right here in America, and as an African American, we don't know.
Yeah.
We really don't know the strength of our art, our music, or
That's right.
or the things that we have attributed not just to the America but to the world.
That's right.
And so, and because we look to other people to recognize us. See, we are still looking for acceptance.
Yes.
And we're still, we're looking for validation. And if the opposite of whom we are does not validate us, then we put less value on it.
Absolutely.
And that is it's basically a program, and a lot of it is slave mentality that
Sure.
is left over.
That's
like
right.
you said, colonialism.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's part of what it is. And if the very oppressed the oppressors that build such empires on our blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes.
Now, if they turn and then they validate us, then we say,
Yeah.
we've arrived.
Yeah.
But we can't see that we've arrived without that
right.
validation.
That's right.
And I think that's what global arts is about. And that's what your
Absolutely.
work is doing in finding that space for
Absolutely.
yourself.
And that's what the spirit awakening is. That's what that woman comes to, that, she doesn't need outside forces to validate her self-worth. She carries that within. That's her birthright. She doesn't need outside forces to tell her what is beauty. She doesn't need outside forces to validate her existence. That's ridiculous. And that is the spirit awakening. Once that woman awakens to that, she's a force that's unstoppable.
And that goes back a little bit to what I'm saying. Once you come to accept who you are, then others will validate it.
That's right.
But you have to accept who you are yourself.
That's right.
You can't go for them and say, accept me, and then I will accept myself.
Nope, it
doesn't
work
work like
way.
that.
No, it doesn't. Right? It doesn't.
It doesn't work like that.
And once you accept yourself, it really doesn't matter whether they accept you or not. It doesn't matter.
And
It's
that's
none
what
of-
makes the difference.
Yes, and because it's none of your business. It goes back to what we were saying before. It really is none of our business. It's just like that phrase I've often heard Reverend Carolyn say, loving someone is my business. It's really none of their business.
Yes.
And so validating myself, that's my business.
That's
And if
exactly it.
Accepting myself, that's my task. No one else. If they accept me, great. If they don't, well, you know.
Because I look at these. You take, for instance, the mountain climber, the deep sea diver, the windsurfers. The highest peak you'll ever climb and the deepest ocean you'll ever dive is within you.
Yeah.
Until you can dive within the depth of who you are as an
That's right.
individual, and then until you climb the highest peak within yourself,
Yeah.
then you'll never know who you are.
That's right.
And it's not out there, and that's, out there can stimulate us.
Yes.
It can, it can teach us. We can learn from it. I was telling someone today about cognitive thinking, and cognitive thinking is the process of psychology that once you change your view about things, you can change your life.
Yes.
And I was telling someone today, that you can go out there and you can see the waves coming in, and you can see the Coast Guard saying, wait a minute, my God, the waves are coming in too high, get off the run, and the community is hidden, getting away from the waves. And then you see these stringy, blonde-haired white guys with surfboards under their arm running to the wave.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you see the
That's
wave
right.
that's coming in on you,
That's
that
right.
becomes your heaven and your hell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's a very important message to give to the world, something important to share with one another. And that's, Larry, in terms of what artists can do, doing Spirit Awakening, writing the piece also drew me to work with incarcerated juveniles, because it's about freedom.
Tell us about working with incarcerated juveniles.
As a result of performing Spirit Awakening and this level of support that it received, I started first as a volunteer working with incarcerated juveniles and then created Spirit Awakening Foundation. And so I've been given the honor and the privilege to go into the probation facilities in LA County, working with LACO, the Los Angeles County Office of Education, and the Los Angeles Probation Department, leading groups of young people in creative writing programs and spoken word and performing arts. And that has been just an amazing opportunity to go in there and try to model for these young minds a way to self-care, to self-love, to not to discard themselves. Because, you know, you're talking about children who often feel so bad about themselves. You know, granted, there are children incarcerated that have done some terrible things. And however, the majority of them are there for running away. Some of the girls are there for prostitution. You know, so these are all issues of self-esteem.
Well,
really.
you know, you and I was talking about, and I talk about this all the time, the broken child within.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
That's
and
right.
I'm a firm believer that most of us, and I got to tell you this, we had a wonderful conversation about, when I'm sitting out in the park or whatever, and I'm meditating or I'm just enjoying the view. I'm not an adult that's looking out these windows. I am that broken child that is still trying to heal, that's looking out this window that is called eyeballs, you know. And I see, the thing that changed my life was understanding that we're all broken children inside. But you're getting them at that raw, where that wound is so raw, and trying to help them heal. And I commend you for that. For the sake of time, tell us a little bit more about the play. And do you have a website?
I do.
Give us a website.
www.akuyoe.com. So it's www.akuyoe.com. And you can find out a lot of information on my website.
Okay.
And they can also lead to the Spirit Awakening Foundation website.
I
also.
tell you, you got to come back and do this. I'm telling you, I'm so enjoying this.
Me too.
So tell us a little bit, pick a couple of characters out of the play.
Okay, so I can do a little bit of an excerpt from when I was a child, when I first left Ghana and arrived in England.
Would you do that?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Well, please, go ahead.
Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. When I am king, dilly dilly, you'll be my queen. In school, no one sang that song to me because I was African, and they couldn't see that I was a princess and could one day be queen. In Ghana, I wasn't colored. Everyone was the same as me. And the only thing that was unusual was if someone was without color. In this new world, living space was boxed and sold into little compartments called flats. No more cooking under the stars. The sun and the moon were now strangers to us, locked out by keys and bars on doors and windows. Earth and her daughter trees leased in places called parks, animals barricaded in zoos, human beings in apartments, everybody in their place, visitation at certain hours only, and don't dare visit someone without first calling to make an appointment. No more skipping barefoot on Mother Earth. Shoes and boots were necessary for the march on cement. No, Mama, please, don't make me go out there to play. They look at me funny and they make fun of my name. Kwe, akuyo, akufi, kafo, kwemo kame njabo bonja me konu. They will only call me Charlotte, Mama. And they call me a gollywog. But you gollywog to me. I'm not a gollywog, am I, Mama? Umbile, my darling daughter, Don't you cry. Hey, if they call you something, then you call them something back, Come on, me. You have to be strong. Look at me. I'm number 1 at Pittman Secretarial School, So you got to come.
Give me some applause there. Oh my goodness, I'm sitting here mesmerized. Jarvis, that was That was great. Oh my goodness, that
Thank
is.
you.
Oh wow, I'm hoping I can get there.
I hope you all can come.
That was really really wonderful. Very very well written as and you know. So how many characters is in
12 characters. I play myself as a little girl. I play my mother. I play my teacher, Miss Coate from England. I play Cola Blue. You guys would love Cola Blue. Cola Blue's like really like, yo, man, Cola Blue's fun. And audiences do fall in love with Cola Blue. And they're like,
Really?
where's Cola Blue? And he died. He was one of my first. He was Cola Blue. Through Cola Blue loving me, I could learn to love myself. Because he saw me. He saw who I really was, you know, and through his eyes, I learned to see myself.
But you know it now. What you and when we have the respect of someone and that mentor,
Yes.
that someone appreciate us and meet us where we are at the time, and I think that's important.
Very, very.
And there is so much. You know, it looks like we do have a call. Why don't you put your headphone on there?
Okay.
And let's take this call here. Hi,
Good
caller.
afternoon, Larry and Akuyo.
Hello.
Well, hello there.
Carolyn.
How
Hey,
you
Reverend
doing?
Carolyn.
And I just love you so much, Akuyo. And
Oh,
I am so glad Larry asked you to do just one little excerpt of what you do on stage, because she is brilliant beyond your understanding.
Oh wow.
She's behind a microphone right now, but when she is in full form on the stage,
And
you
you can
really
get
see the depth of every character and the beauty of her presence.
and you can get the sense of that, and I really thank you so much for calling and talking about this, because you know I'm not a kissy moo moo guy, but I'm getting all milky here. You know, I'm getting all I'm getting all tenderized and stuff here. But I really thank you and for having her on this show. This has been really good. Thanks, Carolyn.
thank you, Reverend
Well,
Carolyn.
before I go, I just want to encourage listeners to come on January the 25th,
That's right.
or to send someone. If you're not in the area, call someone who's in L.A., because I know everyone knows someone in L.A., and make sure they do attend. It's a magnificent show.
Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you.
I know.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that was really heartfelt.
That
Yeah.
was
Now
very sweet of her.
in your when you left Ghana,
Yes.
I thought it was very interesting because I grew up in the South
Okay.
and with no shoes, barefooted. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm wearing sandals because it was so hard for me to. I'm wearing flip flop. It was hard for me to adjust from
To adjust, yeah.
being a kid walking around with barefoot all the time,
That's
because I
right.
just thought that was the whole world.
You know, it's so interesting. I wrote, when I was writing Spirit Awakening, I was very conscious that, you know, growing up in England, when I left Ghana and went to England, and I would look at television and see images of Africans, and I thought, that's not who we are. You know, the images were negative.
Yes.
They were hurtful, you know, and I just thought, that's not us, you know. So when I wrote Spirit Awakening, I was very conscious about, you know, just trying to describe what it was like, you know, that, okay, they look at us and say we're savages, but, you know, it's hot in Ghana, you know, and wearing shoes, to me, that's savage, you know, and, you know, on concrete, you know,
Yes.
so I really wanted to paint a picture of what it was like to be that 6-year-old, to have left Africa and come to England, you know, and that was just because I thought, wait a minute, they just don't know. You know, and I just remember shrinking each time I'd see something, you know, about Africa, and it just was horrible.
And it's like that to this day.
Oh, I
mean,
know.
it's just
I
that,
know.
you know, we as African Americans, and especially the continent of Africa. And by the way, it's a continent, people. It's not just a country. I mean, I know it's hard for some of you to realize this. I know it's hard for you to realize that the Middle East and all of that is the top of Africa. I mean,
That's right.
it's hard, but it's true. Egypt, all of that,
Right.
Africa. You know.
That's
and,
right.
And then what the media choose to pluck out is the
Yes.
negative side of us.
That's right.
But that is to make themselves feel
That's right.
good, to make
That's
themselves
right.
feel powerful, to make themselves feel grandiose or whatever.
That's right.
And a lot of time you'll find in these cultures that in the European culture, it is very, very important to have a boogeyman.
Yes.
And the easiest boogeyman for everybody to use is an African or African American.
Sure.
Can't use the Native Americans anymore because they basically killed them off, and
That's right.
as they was killing them off, they were calling them savages at the same time. You're creating such a savage act, but yet you're calling the people that
you're
you're
killing savages.
exterminating
Yeah.
savages. It's absolutely mind blowing, and we still have that struggle right here. And part of that is what the police department is doing right here with
Yes.
Africans, with Black people in America.
Yes.
Is because the media plays a great part in the psychology
Yes.
of how we are perceived by policemen and businessmen
That's right.
and the whole bit, and we still have to battle that. Look
That's
what just
right.
happened with the it's the Oscars, the one that
I know, yeah. So white. Oscar's so white. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and the thing about it, you have some, I mean, the brilliant white performers
Yes.
out there. Leonardo DiCaprio, this guy is brilliant.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
deserve to get their nomination and the whole
Sure.
bit, but to just shun
I
a
know.
whole group that has
And
been
groups, yeah.
groups
Yeah.
that has been so instrumental and not only that, we're buying tickets.
I know.
If nothing else, just
That's
say,
right.
wait a minute. These are our customers.
Yes.
But anyway, here
I
again,
mean, the diversity that needs to happen in the entertainment industry is from top all the way down. We all know that, and then I think, really that's what the issue really is. And until those things change, I think we'll still have this issue going on. 1 year, okay, there'll be 2 or 3 nominations, and then there'll be another whiteout for a few more years. And okay, they made a noise. Let's nominate a couple more next year.
let's shut them up.
Yeah.
Put a little something up there to shut them up.
But the diversity needs to take place on a whole nother level.
And I think that's one of the things is that until unfortunately, we do have a long way to go. Mississippi just popped out of me. I'm from Mississippi. I can talk like that. Mess with me. We have a long way to go. But one of the things that I feel that we can't let them dictate is that giving ourselves credit
Yes.
for job well done.
That's right.
Will Smith did a hell of a job.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
so many of us, you are doing a hell of a job. And it's so we have to celebrate,
That's
like you were
right.
saying earlier,
Yes.
within ourselves. And that's what we want this show to be about.
That's
Is
right.
to celebrate that type of art, that
That's
type
right.
of commitment.
The young boy who was in Beasts of No Nation, he happens to be Ghanaian, but he was amazing.
He was Ghanaian?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they filmed the whole film in Ghana, and that surprised me that Beasts of No Nation got absolutely, completely shut out, because both he, Idris Elba, and the young boy. But that young boy, the first time ever acting, and he did that. I mean, he was like, he
didn't
carried
see
that
that.
film. It's a hard film to watch. I watched it like this because it is so violent, and the story it's soul wrenching. But his performance was absolutely extraordinary.
Wow.
Yeah, and completely shut out. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me?
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to switch up a little bit, only for the sake of time. Did you see Queen Latifah?
As Bessie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you like that in the young girl? How did you like that?
I loved it. I thought it was one of the best things to me that she's done.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. What did you didn't like it?
No, I'm just looking back at some of these artists and some of the work that they've done, and it just kind of like I don't go to movies a lot, and I don't go to plays.
Yes.
I am a stick in the mud, but you remind me of some of the energy of Queen Latifah.
Latifah. Oh wow.
Just some of the
Thank you.
energy around her,
Yes.
and I've seen her go. And I used to
You've
worked
seen
with
her grow.
Well, I
right?
worked with her projects when she first came out.
Wow.
I had on some on the radio
Yes.
on her earlier, and then to see her go into into this whole other character.
That's right. She's become a very strong
And
actress.
then this play The Wiz.
That's right. And she's a producer.
And that's what I was trying to think of. How did you did you watch that play?
I didn't see The Wiz.
I
heard it was incredible.
It was.
I heard it was incredible.
And the young girl that was on that show for the first
Wow.
time, and so just looking at the talent that is within us, our community,
Hello. Right? Yeah.
And that's why it's so important. Look, we have to celebrate ourselves.
That's right.
And
We
the rest to
do.
come. And we have to remember that this is still we are fighting like tooth and nail.
Yeah.
But all of this is new. We
That's
don't
right.
realize that all of this is new.
That's right.
The movie industry is new. I have a book
Mm-hmm.
that was printed in 1580.
Wow.
Printed in 1580. The book was started. Part of the book was written in the 1400s.
Really?
That book is older than America.
Wow.
Yeah, my book is older than America. So America is south.
It's young.
It's
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
And so I know as sometime I tell my black people and all of and even just Americans, period, notice that this
It's a
young country.
Yeah.
got a lot of growing to do, and we've come so far
Yes.
to only focus in on the negative. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
They're focusing in on the negative, the media, but we have to focus in on the positive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what you bring to the show today is an example of bringing the positive and the once again Spirit Awakening.
Yeah.
Give the website out again.
Sure. www.akuyoe.com. And if I can just remind your listeners to come out to the theater Monday, January 25th, if you can, if you're in LA, or as Reverend Carolyn said when she called, send somebody.
What is the name of the?
The theater is the WhiteFire Theatre in Sherman Oaks. WhiteFire Theatre in Sherman
WhiteFire Theatre in
yeah.
Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
Is this going to be your first performance there?
Yes, they're doing a solo fest, so it's a festival of one-person shows, and I'm performing that Monday. Right now, it's just one performance. I'm sure I'll have other performances coming up in Los Angeles. I'm not sure where, but
I'm
for right now.
sure you're going to have other performances coming up.
Yeah.
And so I see Mondays. Anyway, we'll talk.
Okay.
When we get off the air here.
Okay.
And I got Jarvis is warning me that I have 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
And so once again, now the character that you said that
Cola Blue.
Cola Blue. Tell me a little bit about that character.
Oh, I love Cola Blue. Cola Blue is one hell of a cool cat. And he was based on a friend of mine, actually. So he was a gang member turned medical student. Brilliant. And Cola Blue just, would watch this young woman and see her in all of her, masks that she's wearing, trying to fit in. And he could just really zone in on who she really was and could see the beauty of her soul, even though she was trying to negate that. And she couldn't see it for herself. And until finally she began to see what he saw when he looked at her. So I would say Cola Blue saw the poetry of her being. He saw
the
that.
poetry of her being. I like that.
yeah.
Wow, you go, girl.
Hey.
The poetry of her being.
And in writing Cola Blue, I was very conscious too of I wanted to write a beautiful black man. I wanted was my paean to my black brothers. I wanted to make sure I had a character in there that was just beautiful, that people would fall in love with, and fall in love with their spirit, their intelligence and wisdom and their poetry and their humor. So I made Cola Blue as perfect as you can be, and people really do fall in love with him. So I'm thrilled about that.
So let me ask, from Ghana to London and to America, that is quite a journey.
Yeah.
That's quite a journey. And what has America given you?
I think, I'm grateful to America because in America, I was able to take that journey of self-discovery and find myself. I think it's been great to be here and see my fellow African Americans, and so there was that support, and I think that's important. So America did provide the environment for me to really prosper and to discover myself on so many levels, which is what my mother had intended when she brought me to this country.
Is your mother still living?
Yes, she is.
Well,
yeah.
say hi to Mom.
I will.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mama.
Look here, we're at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So give us some words of wisdom, just quick words of wisdom as we close.
Be yourself. Be yourself, because there's only one you. And that self is vital and necessary and important and needed. And I need you to be yourself so that I can be myself.
Thank you so much. And remember, just a few words from me. I got to close this thing out. But as you get in your spaceship journeying through the galaxy of your spirit and understand the vastness of the universe that's within you, know that the greatest mountain that you ever climb is within your own self-being. Remember, a nation can rise no higher than it elevates its woman. This is Larry Yates. Peace. I'll see you next week.